Wow, it's time for another show full of tips and ideas from the sales growth leadership expert, Dean Akers. Known for his experience in hyper-growing companies and creating cultures for high-performance teams, here's Dean.
Well, welcome to the Sales and Leadership Ninja Show. I'm your head ninja, Dean Akers, and every week I bring you a rant on the topic of either sales and or leadership. Today's show is business success through understanding of birth rate. Today's show we're going to be talking about what I think is one of the best kept secrets that most entrepreneurs and even executives don't understand. I'll even go so far as when I'm talking to a lot of marketing groups, I'm not sure they understand it. But it's a huge facet of facts that I think as you as a entrepreneur, sales, or whatever, look at opportunities, it's just going to give you tremendous smiles and excitement to understand what's ahead of us. And it's a great amount of tailwinds. So it's the impact of birth rates. There's 4 generations that we're going to talk about today because they're the primary generations that are impacting the economy today and or these phenomena that are going to happen. So the first generation is the generation baby boomers. And their birth window is from 1944 to 1964. And there's 82 million of these baby boomers that were born in that period. I'm also going to throw another stat in there that I think is playing larger and larger. And as we get to the end of the stats, you're going to see the impacts of it, and that's immigration. The immigration stat won't be age driven. So baby boomers were born in 1944 through 1964. There's 82 million of them. And there were 4.6 million immigrants that came into the United States legally during that same 20-year window. Then you move into the Gen X, which is a 15-year generational bracket. And that bracket is from 1965 through 1979. And during that 15-year bracket, there were 51 million births. And by the way, these are all round numbers. There were 51 million births. Also during that same period, there were 6 million immigrants. So we had almost 1.4 million more immigrants come in. And in that 15-year window, we saw a big dip. And in 1976, 77, 78, the birth rate got down in that 3.2-ish range. Which represents lowest birth rate pre-baby boomer. So this big dip in the Gen X's has impacted the economy everywhere it's gone, all the way from baby carriages through to wherever they are today, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Then the next generation is the millennial generation that you hear a lot about, 1980 through 1994 is their window, 15-year window. 58 million births in that window, so there's almost a 15% growth in births. And more importantly, there was 12.3 million immigrants in that 15-year window. So the immigration rate doubled from the Gen X time to the millennial time. So again, you're seeing these compounding, or whatever the term might be, effects of population that are going to happen, that are going to create tailwind for businesses. And lastly, the Gen Zs. And the Gen Zs were born a 20-year window, 95 through 2015. And there's 85 million of those. And this is a huge immigration during the same 20-year window, by the way. And this 20-year window is greater than the 20-year baby boomer window. So essentially, you can say this is an echo baby boomer phenomenon, whatever you want to call it. And there's 20.3 million immigrants that also came in. So picture this. In the last 35 years, we have had almost 140 million births and 32 million immigrations compared to the previous 35 years where we had 130 million births versus 140 something million and 10 million immigrants. So you can see this population impact has been pretty huge. So when you do this math, you can start to see that there's going to be, between the birth and the immigration, there's going to be tremendous tailwinds if your business and things you do are focusing on a segment of services and or product that are going to service this 40-year-old and underage. It's going to be crazy, and it's going to create tons of opportunity. If you happen to be listening today and you're in that 40 to 50 year age bracket, which puts you sort of in that Generation X time with the lower birth rates, this is going to create great opportunities for you in growth of management and leadership in the particular companies you're with. There's going to be a big vacuum, and these opportunities are going to be there by the baby boomers aging out. There's going to be opportunities to buy companies because the baby boomers are aging out. And if you're, again, in that 40 to 50-year-old bracket, get ready to have some fun, be highly successful financially and everything else by tacking back into the baby boomers, talking to them about management roles, talking to them about buying them out. And there's just going to be less of you competing for these senior positions. And if you're a company owner or a senior executive, whatever age group you're in, short of you being a 25-year-old phenomena, you're gonna really need to figure out how to bring your younger people along faster for this void in leadership positions that in fact is going to come. So the gist of the visit today is there's opportunities for tailwinds coming everyone's way. And those like my listeners that ignore that around them and keep focused on all this noise, I call it, they're going to miss this opportunity. And this fact-based situation is going to be very, very, very successful, and it's going to be a lot of fun. This tailwind is going to be nuts. I only wish I was one of my 5 sons today with this kind of opportunity ahead. It's going to be a blast for them and all of you as you absorb and understand what we've talked about today. So again, the facts shared today spell out opportunity with a capital O. I want you to really take it into heart, all these numbers I just shared. 82 million boomers are aging out. 51 million Gen Xers. That window, that low birth rate, is going to create tremendous opportunities. And then the 100 and almost 50 million millennial Gen Zs coming behind them with almost 34 million immigrants. Huge tailwind opportunities for everybody in that segment, whether you're selling products, goods, housing, anything you're doing. It's going to be really, really good. So the facts today, one other stat I wanted to share with you. The average first house purchase is age 32, 33. The recession of 08, that was a Gen X phenomena. If you look, the lowest birth rate pre-baby boomer was a 32-year-old. So look at what's happening in housing today and know that there's not another dip in demand because of this huge birth rate and immigrant phenomena. Just wanted to share that. So the facts again shared today spell out opportunity with a capital O. So I hope everyone has had as much fun listening today and watching as I have in sharing these facts. These facts just energize me to no end. Like I said, I wish I was my son's ages. And then I want to share this with you as you meet doubtsayers or whatever out there. Just remember what the late Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan shared. And his famous quote I've used for years is, "Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but no one is entitled to their own facts." So I want you today to go out, get rid of the noise, focus on these facts. And I want you to enjoy all the successes that these facts will make available for you. Thanks again for tuning in every week. And remember to share if this helps you. I totally love all my fans out there. And my book, Self-Talk, Think Like a Child, is always available on Amazon or all the other book networks. And if you ever have a question, as many of you do, you email me at dean@deanacres.com. And I'm I answer every one of them. I'm always glad to help you, and I'm always glad to take a phone call if we set it up in advance. And so when we go off today in a few minutes or in a few seconds, I want you to remember to have fun this week and embrace these facts. This birth rate deal is real, and there's tons of tailwinds for you to the future. Rock and roll. Talk to you later.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Subscribe today to our podcast and send questions or thoughts to help@deanacres.com. Also, visit us at www.deanacres.com to listen to prior shows and view helpful videos. Also, great tips to download. Thanks again. See you next week.